Remember a few months ago when we made a video showing you that we bought 30 feet of Festool track with a track saw? Well, that was because it was for this project, this massive undertaking of building custom redwood beams for my buddy Blake's house. So we started off with an easy section that didn't need much work so we could get used to the track saw since we never used one. It came out really good, and we figured we're ready to move on to the big ones. So we got the ladders out, got the tools out, and quickly realized that these beams were built in an old school fashion where they're 2x12s that are sandwiched together with nuts and bolts going all the way through them. So we had to get some 1x and fur the beams out so we can have nice wide beams that go around these bolts. I think it ended up being a lot more effort than we both thought it was going to be. It took us about almost a full day to get everything cut up and down the ladder, get it all nailed up. But in the end, I think it really is worth it because it makes these beams look really wide, like a big natural structural beam. And these beams are structural, but of course, the beauty of them is the outside is now wrapped in this really awesome redwood. Now, my buddy Blake can be a picky guy, and I appreciate this because he took a lot of time to dig through the redwood when he was buying it and when we were putting it up to get the white and red edges to match in a really uniformed way that made these look absolutely amazing. Now, this is going to be a 2, maybe even a 3-part video because this is a lot of work that goes into it, and I think it's really fun to share the progress. So we got the first board up here after we got it furred out. Now, keep in mind, every one of these edges is mitered, right? So at the vertical joint and the horizontal joint, we mitered everything. Now, at the vertical joints, it is actually going to have a really cool metal strap that he's going to put around it. It gives it kind of a modern but old school vibe, and it's going to look great. This is a really cool shot of how much time he took to find the grain and the color that matches, and you can see it come together with that white section in the middle, and we have a really beautiful red piece going underneath. Now, that Festool track saw really did make our life a lot easier, and I think it was well worth the investment. And overall, these things are coming out amazing. So make sure you hit that like and subscribe button so you can see the final product. This is a little bit of a teaser video, I'm not going to lie, but you are going to see some really unique things. Like here's that beautiful miter I was talking about on that vertical seam. Even though it's going to get wrapped in metal, we're still taking our time to do it just perfect. Now, as we look underneath these beams in this next shot, you're going to see that the furring in the 1x2s have gaps, and that's where those nuts and bolts are, so that way we can get these boards around them and still have something solid to nail onto. Now, luckily, these boards are pretty light, so we don't have to go crazy as far as nailing them. We are using a brad nailer. Since these beams are so high up, you can't really see it. And look at this shot, how great they are coming out. Now, at the top, you might be wondering, what are we going to do in the roof edge there? There's a little bit of a gap, and you're right, there is. But there's going to be some nice redwood trim up there. You're not going to be able to see it. No ceiling is perfect, including this one. It's an older home. And at the end of the day, there's going to be a little trim up there. It's not going to look bad. It's not going to detract from how beautiful these are coming out. I think it's really going to add to it, especially with those metal straps that are going to wrap around. Now, we'd never used a track saw before, so like I said, we started with the smaller ones down lower. But here's a couple shots, and we're going to give you a much more in-depth tutorial on how and what we did to get this track saw to work for us. But you can see how much track we're utilizing and that it was not a waste to buy all of that track. Some of you guys were like, oh, it's a waste. Why are you buying so much track? That's not needed. Well, the reality is we used all except about 2 pieces of track. So I think it was needed and it was a good buy. At this point, we started running out of material and we needed to run out to local Home Depot, get some more stuff. Here we are. So make sure you stay tuned. Catch us on the next one. Hit the like and subscribe button. Stay tuned for the final product because it's well worth the wait.